When Meghan Markle posted a short sun-drenched video to her Instagram account this week, she didn't say a word. No captions, no hashtags, no grand announcement. Just a few seconds of pure, simple family joy, Archie and Lilibet running through a Montecito garden. Laughter caught in the breeze, and Meghan's voice softly guiding them from behind the camera. It should have been a quiet, wholesome moment. But in Britain, the media turned it into a full-blown crisis. Within hours, headlines screamed across every major tabloid. "Meghan's calculated PR stunt," cried one. "Sussexes invade privacy once again," claimed another. The same press that once demanded to see more of Archie and Lilibet suddenly couldn't cope when Meghan decided to share them on her own terms. This wasn't just coverage, it was frenzy. A media storm designed not to report, but to reclaim control, to remind the world that even Meghan's family joy had to pass through the approval of the British press. But it didn't, and that's what truly terrified them. Because for the first time in years, Meghan didn't need the royal machine or the UK tabloids to amplify her story. Her one video, a tender glimpse of her children living freely in California, broke the internet all on its own. Over 5,000 comments flooded in within hours. News outlets in Europe, the US and beyond reposted it, while hashtags linked to Archie and Lili soared across platforms. It wasn't about publicity. It was about presence, about visibility without permission. And to the British media, that's the most dangerous kind of power Meghan could possibly wield. For years, the press painted Meghan and Harry as irrelevant, out of touch, fading, unwanted. Yet a single clip of Archie's laughter had more cultural weight than the entire royal family's coordinated photo ops combined. Because Meghan doesn't need palace approval. She doesn't need Buckingham's blessing. She's built something they can't replicate: authenticity. In a world driven by image, authenticity is the ultimate threat. It's why British tabloids have obsessed over Meghan's smallest choices, the colour of her outfit, the tone of her voice, even the way she holds her children. When she speaks publicly, they call her attention-seeking. When she stays quiet, they call her calculating. But when she simply exists, when she allows the world a natural moment of her family, the mask slips from the press. The coverage becomes desperate, paranoid. They can't decide whether to frame her as a villain or a marketing genius. So they do both, all while amplifying the very thing they claim to resent: her reach. The power dynamic has flipped, and they know it. Years ago, the British press controlled Meghan's narrative. They dictated the stories, cherry-picked the photos, and distorted her words until they became weapons. But with one post, Meghan reminded them that she no longer needs their permission to be seen. The timing was unintentional, yet poetic. While royal commentators were still busy dissecting the latest stiff appearance from Kensington Palace, Meghan quietly dropped a video that outperformed their official engagements tenfold. It wasn't a PR stunt, it was evolution. Because while the monarchy clings to image consultants and press secretaries, Meghan speaks the universal language of motherhood and warmth. She doesn't pose, she connects; she doesn't preach, she lives. And that's something the British establishment can't package or control. So when that video hit millions of screens, it shattered the illusion the press had spent years building that Meghan and Harry were fading into obscurity. In reality, they've never been more relevant. Behind the media's fury lies something deeper: fear. Fear that Meghan's independence has outgrown the palace. Fear that Archie and Lilibet, children born outside the gilded cage, symbolise a future where royal bloodlines no longer guarantee attention or admiration. For decades, the monarchy relied on controlled imagery Christmas cards, balcony appearances, pre-approved interviews. The Sussexes have dismantled that playbook completely. Every frame of that short video was a quiet rebellion. No handlers, no stage backdrops, no royal titles, just Meghan's family, unfiltered and free. And for a media empire built on spectacle, that simplicity was devastating. Because while royal photographers scrambled for sanctioned shots of Windsor babies, Meghan offered something priceless: authenticity without access. You could almost feel the frustration in the editorials. One outlet accused Meghan of using her children for clout. Another demanded to know why she would invite scrutiny after leaving royal life. The irony? These were the same papers that once chased Meghan through private gardens, published lies about her pregnancy, and refused to respect her boundaries as a mother. The hypocrisy couldn't be clearer. When the palace releases an edited portrait of a royal child, it's called tradition. When Meghan shares a candid moment, it's called strategy. When the royal family hides behind palace gates, it's dignity. When Meghan embraces her independence, it's defiance. The double standard isn't subtle anymore. It's a system, one that the video accidentally exposed in full view. For Meghan, it wasn't about making headlines. It was about reclaiming narrative. Her video wasn't a response to critics. It wasn't a statement or a campaign. It was a glimpse, and that glimpse told the world everything the tabloids didn't want you to see. That her children are happy, that her life is peaceful, that the woman they once portrayed as divisive is living a truth beyond their reach. And that's what truly breaks the media's composure. Because their power has always depended on the idea that Meghan needed them, that her silence meant defeat. But now every post she makes is a reminder. She's thriving, and they're watching from the sidelines. For the royal correspondents who've spent years dissecting Meghan's every move, this video was unbearable proof that the story has moved on without them. They still rely on whispers from palace insiders, on outdated hierarchies, on a fading system of privilege and control. Meanwhile, Meghan speaks directly to millions, with a few seconds of video, no intermediaries, no spin, no need for approval. That's not rebellion. That's evolution. The monarchy, bound by tradition, represents permanence. Meghan represents change. And the press, stuck somewhere between the two, can't reconcile the fact that the woman they tried to destroy has become the story they can't live without. It's easy to dismiss this as another social media moment, but make no mistake, this was cultural. For years, the British press has insisted Meghan's star would fade once she stepped away from royal duties. But every time she shares even a fraction of her private world, the world stops to listen. That's not fading. That's enduring relevance. And every viral ripple, every headline, every defensive column exposes the insecurity of a media class that built its brand on policing a woman's existence. They tried to box her in as the Duchess of Drama. Instead, she's become the woman who reshaped how royalty communicates in the digital age. The frenzy didn't stop there. Broadcast journalists analysed the lighting of her video, the tone of her voice, the clothes her children wore. One network even ran a segment debating whether Meghan had overshadowed an upcoming royal engagement. Imagine that. A mother filming her children in her backyard became a national emergency for Britain's press corps. And that's the point, because the British media needs Meghan. She is their perpetual front-page headline, their guaranteed clicks, their reliable controversy. Without her, they lose the drama they pretend to condemn. In truth, Meghan is their best story and their greatest failure. Because despite years of coordinated smears, she's still here, still visible, still unbroken. And with each post, she reminds the world that peace is the ultimate revenge. There's something poetic about the symbolism of this video. Two children playing freely, far from palace walls. No titles, no photographers shouting their names, just sunlight, laughter, and a mother who dared to write her own story. It's everything the British press said she'd never have: happiness, privacy and control. And that's exactly why they can't stand it. Because the narrative they built depended on Meghan being miserable, on her struggling without royal support, on her fading into the Californian background while the Windsors thrived. Instead, the opposite happened. The monarchy is shrinking, the institution is aging, and the Sussexes have built something real, a family rooted in purpose, not protocol. By the end of the day, over 5,000 comments had flooded Meghan's post. The press called it chaotic, but in truth, it was pure admiration. Global outlets covered it because it represented what the royal family has failed to deliver: genuine connection. It wasn't a glossy palace portrait, it was real life. And people crave that. That's why, no matter how the tabloids twist the story, Meghan's narrative always wins, because it's rooted in truth. They can scream publicity stunt all they want, but when the dust settles, it's clear. The only people performing for attention are the ones writing those headlines. The British media may still be shouting, but the world has already moved on. Meghan doesn't need to defend herself. She doesn't even need to respond. Her silence and her joy are louder than their outrage. Every frame of that video said what words couldn't. She's at peace, her children are thriving, and her story continues far beyond the reach of their columns. It's no wonder they're panicking. Because for all their power, the one thing the British press can't control is happiness. And Meghan Markle, once their favourite target, has mastered it.